Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's session, I'm going to talk about Michael Drayton. Before moving with the session, kindly subscribe my channel and get the further updates about the upcoming lectures. As Michael Drayton, who was born in the year 1563 and he lived up to 1631, of course, was a popular writer in the Elizabethan age. There is no much information about his early life, but scholars who lived in 19th and 20th century, they've analyzed and they predicted through his writings that Drayton was studied in the Oxford University. Drayton, who published his first work in the year of 1590, which is The Harmony of the Church. It's a collection of spiritual poetries which he dedicated to Lady Devereux, Devereux, so to whom he dedicated this collection. And of course, it's a little notable for a version of the Song of Solomon. See, though it's a little popular work, a few of the copies of the work was seized by the Archbishop of Canterbury, and the whole edition was destroyed by the public order. But still, Drayton was, very confident and published a vast amount of within the next few years. And the next work which he published in the year 1593 was the Shepherds Garland. Okay, this is a collection of 9 pastorals, and in this collection, Drayton, who celebrated his own love sorrows under the poetic name of Rowland, Rowland. Actually, the basic idea was, expanded in a cycle of 64 sonnets. And that was, published in the year of 1594 under the title of Ideas Mirror. The one thing, we could understand that his sonnets, which possess a direct and instant, universal appeal by reason of their simple, straightforward ring and which is, foreshadowed the smooth style of Fairfax, Waller, and Dryden. Drayton was the first person to bring the term ode for a lyrical poem. That was, very popular in England and was a master of the short and staccato. His, historical poems were appeared in the year 1593, which is the Legend of Piers Gaveston. Legend of Piers, Piers Gaveston, Gaveston. The next year saw the publication of Matilda, Matilda. It's an epic poem was written in the rhyme royal. At this same time, he also came with the work called Endymion and Phoebe, Endimion and Phoebe. Phoebe. It's actually a volume which he never, republished. But this one, which contains some interesting autobiographical matters and acknowledgements of literary help from Thomas Lodge, Edmund Spenser, and Samuel Daniel. Michael Drayton, who published an important long poem which is Mortimeriados, Mortimeriados. Mortimeriados. Okay, this poem which he published in the year 1596. It's a very serious production in Ottawa, Rimau. Later, he enlarged and modified this poetry and republished the work in the year 1603 under the title of The Baron's War. Barons, Barons Wars. WARS, the Baron's Wars. He came with another historical poem in the year 1596, which is the Legend of Robert, Duke of Normandy. With this, Piers Gaveston was printed. Along with this, Piers Gaveston was printed in the year of 1597. The another work which is England's Heroical Epistles, Epistles. It's a series of historical studies. In the year of 1597, he was resting on his laurel, and it seems that he was much favored at the court of Elizabeth. So he hoped that it would be the same them with their successor. But in the year of 1603, he addressed a poem of complaint to James the First on his accession, and it was ridiculed, and his services rudely rejected. His bitterness found expressions in a satire, which is The Owl, which was published in the year 1604. But Drayton didn't have skills to this type of composition. In the year of 1605, Drayton reprinted his most important works, which is his historical poetries, The Idea, okay, in a single volume, which ran through 8 editions during his lifetime. He also collected his smaller pieces, which are unedited, in a volume undated. See, but probably published in the year 1605 under the title of Poems Lyric and Pastoral. These consisted of odes and eclogues and a fantastic satire called The Man in the Moon. We could accept that some of the odes were written by Drayton or extremely spirited. In this volume, he printed for the first time the famous ballad of Agincourt, Agincourt, Agincourt. He had adapted as early in the 1598 the extraordinary resolution of celebrating all the points of photographical or antiquarian interest in the island of Great Britain. And on this laborious work he was engaged for many years. In the year 1613, the first part of the work was published under the title of Poly Olbion, Olbion. Around 18 books being produced. Drayton published another his miscellaneous volumes in the year 1627, and this contains some of his most characteristics writing, and with the following pieces, which are the Battle of Agincourt, an historical poem in Ottawa Rimo. So in the same name he also produced a ballad, but this one is different. The Battle of Agincourt. Okay, the Battle of Agincourt, he published a ballad, but this one is different. This is an historical poem. Okay, the next one is the Miseries of Queen Margaret, Margaret, and this one was written in the same verse and manners. The next one, Nymphidia, Nimphidia, and the Court of Fairy, Faery. Okay, the next one is the Quest of Cynthia, Chinthia, the Quest of Cynthia, and the Shepherds Sirena, Sirena. The Quest of Cynthia and the Shepherds Sirena, these two are lyrical pastorals. And finally, the Moon Calf, Calf, the Moon Calf. It's a satire one. So he registered himself as a playwright, not only as a poet. He also contributed for Elizabethan theatre, like other poets in his age. So he also contributed to the theatres. He was very active in writing for theatre, of course, but not like Shakespeare, Ben Jonson, or Samuel Daniel. He spent little of his art for theatre for a period of only 5 years, from 1597 to 1602. He spent for theatre. Okay? He was a member of the stable of playwrights who supplied materials for the theatrical syndicate of Philip Henslow. The Henslow's diary, which links Drayton's name with the 23 plays from the period, and it shows that Drayton is always worked in the collaboration with other Henslow regulars like Thomas Dekker, Anthony Munday, and Henry Chettle. The only play which is William Langsford. This is the only play which he worked alone, but this one was not completed. Drayton was said to be one of the lessees of the Whitefriars Theatre, together with Thomas Woodford and his nephew of playwright Thomas Lodge. He was also the part of the chartered a company of child actors. Drayton was a friend to some of the most popular writers who lived in the Elizabethan age, like Ben Jonson, William Browne, George Wither. He made an attempt to compile a hearsay of Shakespeare. So he wrote that Shakespeare, Drayton, and Ben Jonson. In one of Drayton's poems, Elegy or Epistle to Mr. Henry Reynolds, he left some valuable criticism on English poets from Chaucer's time to his own, including Shakespeare. Well, that's it about Michael Drayton. Thanks for listening my lecture. Kindly subscribe.